Why, hello everybody. This is Kirikomori's House of Hikikomori, and today we're going to be talking about Aldnoah.Zero. Now, this is in total, 24 episode series that came out in 2014 and 2015. Let me get my handy dandy. I keep notes in here. Isn't that cool? So if I just say, I look down in here, and I at least have an idea of what I'm talking about. Always recommend it. So there's 12 episodes each, and each season making 24. I personally watched it on Netflix, where there is both a sub and a dub. I hated the dub deeply. I only watched like 15 minutes of it, but I didn't like it. So if you're into dubs, I mean, it's there. Go forth. I believe it's also on Crunchyroll too. If you don't subscribe to Netflix streaming, but luckily I do. This anime has been done by A1 Pictures, which is the steak sauce pictures. No, not really. That would be pretty amazing because A1 is a great steak sauce. But it's probably their most infamous / famous anime that came from there are Sword Art Online and Erased. I made a review of Sword Art Online at one point, but I can't even remember what I said in it. Oh, by the way, comment below if you actually have requests of if you somehow enjoyed me talking about my thoughts, and you're like, hey, do my favorite or least favorite or this anime I heard of. I just might do that, and that would be pretty darn cool. So, now on to the review. So, this is a mecha. Basically, mecha anime. You're there for the giant robots, and if you've heard of it, you've probably heard of robots. But it's an alternate timeline of Earth, in which I believe it takes place in like 2014. So it's like the now of before on an alternate timeline, in which in the 1960s, a bunch of people discovered that on Mars, there's actually this secret technology called Aldnoah that is ancient and cool and magical and does crazy stuff. So a bunch of people decided to colonize Mars. So occupy Mars, people. If you're into that, look, someone did it fictionally. Actually, a lot of people did it fictionally. I feel like that's a really big thing. But there's, of course, when people separate from each other, I don't know if rivalry is an understatement, but Martians with their super cool badass robots started attacking Earth, even though they're all human in the first place, and had a war, and it blew up part of the moon. I wonder how the tides are now. But it's called Heaven's Fall, and that kind of sets the stage for the kind of political tension that would be now, in which the Martians, which are Earth people, and now refer to Mars as verse for whatever reason. There might be some weird old language thing that I don't understand, but that's what they feel. So there's a monarch for verse, and there's a bunch of sky knights, where they have these aerial castles that just kind of dot around the atmosphere of Earth, and they're all aristocratic and snobby and refer to Earth people as tyranns, which I guess that's racism. Yeah, it's definitely racism, but that's like a weird name for racism. And they don't like Earth very much. They don't like Earth people, and they just want the resources of Earth. I feel like this has happened before. Always whenever I feel like aliens or Earth aliens, like, go and think, man, Earth's got some cool stuff. We're pretty jealous of it. Let's take it over. And so that's what they're planning to do. Now, this is a pretty smart way to start. So they want to start a war with Earth. So the way they do it is that, you'll find this out in the first 2 episodes, so it's not too much of a spoiler and stuff, that a princess who actually literally does want peace between Earth and Mars goes down, says, let's have a peace meeting, but then she gets assassinated, but actually doesn't get assassinated because it turns out she was actually not in the vehicle that just got blown up by assassins. But of course, Martians take it as reason enough to go and invade Earth. They seem pretty darn ready. I feel like this is like the Mexican-American War all over again. But anyway, now at our centered narrative comes a group of classmates who somehow were actually there to see the blow up of the fake princess, and almost get evacuated as like the war starting, but they don't get caught up, and is this core group of kids where it's like, or 5, but one like immediately dies. Of course, this is the throwaway lost character, you know what I mean. Got weird too. Like, you got your class president, the blonde chick that I still can't remember, the buddy, and of course Inaho. Oh god, I hate him so much. He's like literally has the personality of like a brick. And they basically grab, also in this alternate timeline, in kind of preparation for whatever conflict may start again. Basically, all kids are in like military school, and so they go immediately back to school, and Inaho, our main guy, grabs like a training robot, and then kind of basically drives the way to safety, and he meets like the actual princess that didn't get killed, then meets up with the military, and then it's on a romp of trying to see if they could expose the princess to the entire world, say she's fine, but of course it's never that easy. There's a lot of political intrigue. Oh yeah, I forgot to talk about Slain. So there's a guy who also is interesting in love with like the princess too, who's originally from Earth but landed on Mars because his dad was researching or something. Go figure. And he all has the hots for the princess too. And he gets tied up in this, has this weird rivalry with Inaho, and it's weird. The first 12 episodes are pretty episodic. It's just kind of, there's a giant robot that's all souped up with the Aldnoah energy, and then Inaho pulls an idea out of his ass and defeats him with like a training cataphract. And I'm like, okay, wait. I know this guy is supposed to be good, but can you really be that good? I know how public schools treat all their things. I don't think that cataphract is actually going to be working that well. You know what? Go ahead. If you couldn't tell, I really hate Inaho as a character. He just is so bland, and then just pulls ideas out of his ass, and then, like, makes it happen. Like, wow, look at all these experienced military men dying from getting their military cataphracts blown up by this crazy badass mecha, and then he comes in with his, like, shitty-ass orange cataphract, and is like, just lays waste to him. It always bothered me. That's why I actually like Slain more, who becomes the antagonist in the second season, and I won't tell you how, because if you watch it, there's a pretty big twist at the end of the first season that leaves you all like, what to do? What? And then you're like, well, that was interesting. It's, I was very surprised that just came out of nowhere, and I was just like, whoa, you know. But it's definitely interesting. I actually found myself really enjoying it. I remember, I did check out a couple other people's reviews of it, and most of them were not very positive. I mean, look, our main character, you find not really rooting for, and actually rooting for the antagonist, because they actually have, like, feelings. Like, I love how it can turn like that. And funny, also Sword Art Online, Kirito has that same problem, and it's the same studio. I bet the same, like, crew worked on it, you know? But yeah, it's like, Other characters, honestly not memorable. There is, in the first season, a pretty good PTSD arc with a teacher that gets caught up in kind of the group. And I guess that's fine. I honestly, it's forgettable. The animation, I heard a lot of complaints about, but I honestly didn't mind. They do use a lot of CGI for the mecha fights, which kind of makes sense. I wonder if they were on a budget. It's probably true. I love the opening and like kind of battle soundtrack. It's kind of like operatic. It's like really gets you hyped up, you know? But anyway, I keep hearing things. Uh, I don't do number scores anymore because I don't know really how to do numbers. But if you're looking for a mecha show and honestly, you don't mind the characters and just want to see robots fight, there is some politics stuff in the second season which I did enjoy, but also was reading Richard III at the time, so I guess I probably just got caught up in it, you know. But it's like fine. I just watched it while I like did the linen like folded linens like while on Netflix, and so it's like sure there's a lot of stuff that's wrong, but I ended up enjoying myself and I did actually get caught up in it. So check out like 2 episodes. The first 2 episodes are really good, and then it just starts going downhill. So I actually do recommend the 3-episode test for it because it's like the first 2 episodes were like really good, and then like the third one I'm like, oh, okay, it's kind of fine. I'm still folding linens. I need to do a tablecloth. I don't really want to browse for anime right now. So that's what I did. But yeah, if you like robots, military gobbledygook, give it a look-see. I'm gonna start a thing called the Wreck of the Review. If there's something really cool that I see going on right now, like, I'll recommend it to you. I just caught up with this show called Roadies on Showtime. It's awesome. You should check it out. If you definitely like music, check it out. It's about a stage crew for like a fictional band, and it's so indie aesthetic. There's even like the long hipster font for like Roadies. So if you enjoy rock and music and indie, check it out. See y'all later.